Let's start with a word of prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and our national anthem. Heavenly Father, we the people, on behalf of the United States of America, come to you this day as our nation's founding fathers did so many years ago. We humbly ask for your guidance and wisdom so that we the people, with your leadership, may restore America to the country you guided our forefathers to establish. We also humbly ask that you help unite all Americans in this effort so that all may once again enjoy the rights you blessed us with and left in our safekeeping. Forgive us, Lord, for turning away from you and squandering our liberty, for we know that by restoring you to your place on high in this nation, we will never again forget that it is you, Father, from whom our liberty flows. Help us restore it, O Father, for your glory. Amen. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy 4th of July weekend to everybody tuned in to the Liberty Restoration Information Show. We've got a lot going on today. I'm coming to you tonight from Justin, Texas. Joining me, my co-host, a man that needs very little introduction. Genius and brilliance are his, the way he operates. I'll just put it that way. This is Jeremy Deeter from Columbus, Ohio. We've got a lot of things going on. Hi, Jeremy. How are you, buddy?
I tell you, I can't get used to the introductions. I appreciate it, man, but there's no way I can live up to that now.
Oh, now, Jeremy, I was listening in, day before yesterday to your show. You were having to fly solo because your co-host was under the weather. And I only caught about the last 45 minutes. And let me tell you folks something. This guy, when he speaks, his words are made of gold. They really are. It's just solid gold. And the examples he gives and the way he drills down, just your analysis and your interesting take on just the angle you approach things from. I always learn something. And that was the reasons why very early on that I asked you to join me here so you could make me look better. So it's all
I
good.
appreciate it. It's nice to join the esteemed General Lee. So it's good to have company here.
All right, okay. Enough of the love fest here. Jeremy, tell them when you're on. Tell them when you're on besides Saturdays and Sundays with me. how they listen to you and all these things, because you really need to tune into this guy. Really do. He's got a great show.
Destroying human life from the womb to the wrinkle stage. They will and they can take life. It means absolutely nothing to them. Now, I want you to
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. I want you all to take this in mind. Consider the fact that you've lost your grandson, you've lost a child, and you don't know where it's at, but somebody finds the child out in the field somewhere, and it's being attacked and ravaged by buzzards or coyotes. I want you to take that and hold that in your mind very vividly. This is what I want you to do. Because they are crossing over the river with impunity, you need to assume that they will do the same thing coming into your front yard, into your garage, into the back door of your home. Do not poo-poo this off and say it's not going to happen to me because I've got news. Trust me, they're already up there in your backyard, and you need to take this seriously, deadly seriously. Ernest, I'll shut up and let you continue.
Oh, Rusty, thank you so much for sharing that information with us. Rusty's property is literally on the banks of the Rio Grande River. Rusty gets to see, he kind of gets a preview of what's coming to a neighborhood near you if it's not already in your neighborhood right now. And Rusty, we appreciate your time and your dedication, and we know that it's a tough situation for you down there. Mr. Deeter, any of your thoughts, sir, on what Rusty had to share with us?
I have a lot of thoughts on what Rusty had to share with us. I know I live in Ohio, but I am not unfamiliar with the drug cartels. I have been on the border. I've been on the other side of the border. And let me to everybody, in Mexico with those kids missing and everything else, and how this applies to us directly. They want us to be scared about Daesh or ISIS over in the Middle East, possibly getting here, this, that, and the other. And as much as that may be viable, we share a border with a country of people that are Paoleomi worshipers.
High traffic locations. We had passed out the Liberty Pledge website, little business cards. It's got the website and the Facebook page on it. And we passed those out. We invited people. We invited them to go see what was, come see what was going on, etc. And we were in the municipal auditorium. And let me tell you the size of this. Several small towns. I grew up in a small town. I felt like I was home when I walked into the municipal auditorium because it's got a basketball court in the middle of it. And it's got seating all around, theater-style seating up on a second tier. And we had chairs and stuff, obviously, on the floor. The capacity of this building was probably 2,500, 3,000 people. That's just maxed out. Only about 4,000 probably. And we managed to pull in an entire dozen people. questions for me. I explained to him what we were doing, why we were there. And I said, were we doing anything wrong? He said, no, not with what you're doing. There's nothing wrong at all. And the chief even had personally invited, he said, over 50 people to come attend the meeting once he had found out, the substance, and he looked at the website and saw what was going on. And the chief, he's an old guy like me. He's getting ready to retire. And he says, everybody in this town should have been at this meeting. And even with the chief managed to bring about 5 people himself. He said he had invited 50. And of the other 45 that declined, they told him that basically they didn't think the chief could protect them from the federal government. They were scared of getting on a list. They were scared of getting on a list. They were scared of what the federal government might do to them were they to publicly become involved. And the chief says, the funny thing is, out of those as nationals of whatever state, or if you still consider yourself a citizen of the country, the biggest enemy we face isn't ISIS. It's not the Mexican drug cartel. It's not all these things, combination of those things, but it's our very own federal government. Because with the size, resources, and everything else, if they use their power for good, instead of trying to fold us into the New World Order. And yet, Jeremy, I just picked up my tinfoil sombrero to put on. But, folks, this isn't a joke. None of this is a joke. This is all real. And I really can't understand. We have had very, very dedicated, fearless people in the dozens at all of these meetings in Kansas, when it should have been in the hundreds. We've been on radio. We've been passing out flyers. We're talking about restoring the constitutional republic to its original intent. And people would even come out on their front porches and engage in conversation. And I knew for a fact that I had personally talked to 20-plus, 30-plus people, because I just knew they were going to be there at the meeting Wednesday night. Not a single one showed. So you come out on your porch and you talk and you ask questions and you agree and you say, boom, I'm with it 100%, everything else, and you won't even drive 6 blocks to attend a meeting to find out about it. Because bottom line, you're scared. Scared. In fear. Then we deserve what we're getting. Because, according to Thomas Jefferson, when the people fear the government, there's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there is liberty. There's a reason why we have a republic. But throughout the course of history, republics crumble. They go toward more of a state of democracy than a republic. And then in the end, they become an oligarchy. Because really and truly, kings or dictators, really a single individual does not rule a country. It's impossible. Because they have to have their councils. They have to have their committee heads. They have to have people to go do things. So it's really an oligarchy. In other words, an elite few people calling the shots. I put up a video today. It came out from Uncle Sam's Misguided Children. It's on all the pages, the Liberty Pledge, Accountability We Demanded, all the individual state pages. It's in lots of different groups. And I put it up there because it was the best thing that I had seen to date that explains just what the United States of America was supposed to be, what the original intent was. But it also takes you through history. And I want to tell you, whether or not you want to listen or not, you're going to hear what I've got to say about this, because we are in the dying in stages of our republic. And if you don't quit being scared, if you don't quit at least wanting to show up to a meeting, I am not asking anybody. As a matter of fact, I'm not supporting or suggesting that we take up arms and go attack anywhere. I'm asking you to come to a meeting and then turn around and hound your state legislative members to restore this constitutional republic. But you're too scared. You're too scared. Then you're going to get what you deserve. Mr. Deeter.
We're in a fear-driven society. We have been polarized to be a knee-jerk reaction, fear-driven society. And we have been inundated to do this by the best in the world. These people have invested in television, billboards, magazines, newspapers, internet, everything. Education, the Department of Education, which is just a complete joke. Everything. You know, it's wise for our enemy to do that, because we are hardwired physiologically to remember fear first. So then if you consider something that is out of the norm, the very first thing that happens is you become apprehensive about it, and you start to consider all of the things that will go wrong. And all of us are guilty of this. We come up with the worst case scenario, and it doesn't really deal in reality. It's the reality we create for ourselves because we have been taught to do so. And I think what we're seeing, not just with the Liberty Restoration Committee, I think what we're seeing with all of these different groups, whether it's the militia with their boots on the ground, or if it's 3% with their boots on the ground and fighting the information war online and creating new partnerships, whatever group it is, we're seeing that people are no longer going to be fear-driven, that they're rising above that and they're seeing things for themselves in a different way. And it's happening within the spirit of people. As corny as that may sound to some, this doesn't happen. People do not make these decisions to be parts of these groups unless something inside of them changed, unless there was a revolutionary process inside of them. And with the climate that we have, that we are inundated with, what you're looking at is a revolutionary change of consciousness. People had to look at their reality, see what they've been taught, and then purposefully make the decision for themselves and discern for themselves to walk away from that and consider a whole new premise. And when people do that, that's change. That's revolutionary. And we've always asked people to do that exact thing. When you go to thelibertypledge.com and you start to look over these different documents, we only want you to discern for yourself. This is about your sovereignty, your self-governance, your discernment, what you believe. Do you think this is an effort to further harm our nation or our people? Or do you believe that when you read it, it is the obvious attempt on the American people's behalf to regain control of their country? What does this look like? What does this sound like? You know, and I think with your experiences, Ernest, out in Kansas, being out there, you know, boots on the ground, talking to people, having those meetings, you know, there's a couple of things that play into that. What is the dynamic for Kansas specifically? Because each state is a little bit different. So what are those people used to? What is the specific inundations out there? What are the most prolific techniques that have been used to harm those folks? Do you see what we saw in every country right before World War II, where people in the country still are not comfortable with people in the city, and people in the city still are not comfortable with people in the country? Do you see that dynamic playing out? Do you see a wealth discrepancy in the state? Do you see where it's not just fear-driven, but it's also, people like to jump on board when something has started. They don't like to start it. I don't know. That's just some of my questions.
I understand, and all those questions and a couple other things that I wanted to get around to here, but we've been in western Kansas, specifically southwestern Kansas, and it's farming communities, etc. I will tell you this: the amount of Syrian and other Middle Eastern refugees that are being brought into these towns would stagger your imagination. It would blow your mind. And you wonder what city you're in, Kansas. And when you're in a small town in Kansas and you're sitting at a stop sign to go to the main street, and in full, what do they call the garb the females wear with the
burqa?
The burqa, yeah. And when you're sitting at a stop sign waiting to cross to go from a side street up to the main street in this town, and you have to sit there for over 3 to 4 minutes because of the sheer number of burqa-wearing females crossing the street in front of you. You look at your companion that is from Kansas, and he said, "See what I told you?" And
wow.
They are coming in by the thousands, and they're settling them in these small towns. And these people don't know what to do. They really don't know what to do with this influx. I believe we've got a caller on the line. I think the name was Randy. It was kind of jumped up and then disappeared. I'm technically disadvantaged today, everybody. One thing I have in front of me is my iPhone. Randy, if you're out there, buddy, welcome to the show. You got Ernest and Jeremy. What's going on, man? How can we help you?
Hey, Ernest, how you doing, man?
Doing good,
You know me. Oh, I'm
sure I
good.
do. What's it? Oh, good. What's on your mind, man?
Well, I just had a question. How did it go actually there at the municipal building?
Well, it's like say there were like about a dozen people that showed up, and now the dozen that showed up were very.
I set that up for you guys.
Yeah, I know, Randy. I know you did, and I know that you're out working on the road. And the thing about it is, Randy, the people that were there were very engaged. They were very interested and promised to spread the word. As a matter of fact, the chief of police said, if you guys can swing back there, he said, I can promise you a bigger, better crowd. But this was after, Randy, we were on radio. Your wife, Dawn, had taken and posted on, all the local media that she could find, whether it be Facebook, online swap shops, or, she flooded the area. Curtis and I covered the town with flyers. We went door to door, knocking on doors, inviting people and everything else. And the turnout was a little disappointing, to tell you the truth. But, like I say, I didn't have any problem with the quality of people that attended. It was just the number and the quantity. A lot more people need to do that, but, Randy, they're scared. They're absolutely scared. So, man,
scared. That's what I don't understand. I've stood up all my life, and, Ernest, I've talked to you several times, and I don't understand why anybody's scared.
Well, the examples are, people are scared to death that they're going to be put on some list, taken to a FEMA camp. They'll be the first ones rounded up when trouble does break out. They're looking at what happened to the Bundys and all the folks in Oregon, what happened to Lavoy Finicum, and these folks. and they're looking at that saying, oh, wow, that could be me if I get involved in something trying to restore the constitutional republic. And that's really sad. But, I do and don't blame the people for feeling that way. I understand why they feel that way. I just wish they'd get over it, and man up, so to speak, and take some action. Wouldn't that be, I know that's your course of action, you're steady fighting. You're steady fighting. I know you are. So what else you got going on, brother?
Well, I've just spreaded the information on to the Atlanta radio station. A friend of mine works there, and he's going to spread it, and he's checking out the website, and he's going to put it on the air.
Very good, very good, man. You got my contact information. You got my contact information. Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
Hey, Randy. I also want to address a couple of things here. First of all, thank you for being part of this on the ground level, because the Patriots in Kansas, there were so many, and they expressed such a loud voice. That was why Kansas was chose. They were chosen because so many people said, hey, come here, we'll try it first. And, Kansas showed a huge willingness, and that was the reason why they were chosen kind of as the test market. And with it being a test market, right now we're learning. Everybody is learning. Everybody is seeing what's working. Yeah, we're figuring out the methodologies that are going to work best, and you're a part of that. So I believe, by the time we get this where it needs to be, you're going to be one of the premier organizers in the nation. You're going to know exactly what not to do. You're going to know exactly what to do, and we're all going to be able to see this work together.
Well, it ain't over till it's over, right?
That's right.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely, buddy. Ain't nobody giving up. I talked to several people, and I'm glad that you called in tonight. But
it's been passed on.
Oh, well, very good. That's what we need everybody to do. We need everybody to reach out. Look, this movement is only about 2 months old, everybody. And, and I'm talking about, okay, we only had a dozen, we only had this. We have got hundreds of thousands, if not millions, online that are, finding out about this. This nation is over 300 million people. It's going to take a little bit of time. We're only 60 days into this. And, I was hoping it would sweep Kansas, but I guarantee you this, Randy and Jeremy and everybody else listening, if we have to double back through Kansas to get more people on board, we'll do what we've got to do, because the people in Kansas, I can see it in their eyes, I hear it in their voices. They want to make history. They want to make history, and they want to make history doing the right thing, which is restoring our constitutional republic. So by no means is anybody giving up. I had a long conversation today with Pat, and we were talking about different things and my personal reasons for having to make a real quick little trip to Texas and what was going on. But he knows, and I know. This is just a little speed bump in the road here, just a little hiccup I had to double back and take care of. Somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do. Imagine that.
Problems, man.
Yeah. We all have problems. That's right. And
you know mine.
Go ahead.
You know mine. But
yeah. Hey, look, and I want to share with everybody and thank publicly. Randy and Don opened their home to myself and Curtis while we were in the Pratt area, and literally showed us every courtesy. They absolutely did, and my absolute thanks to them, because I'm telling you, buddy, at $60 a night on a motel, and that's a cheapie. For some reason, motels seem to be on the high side in Kansas. But anyway, that's a big expense, and there's no big corporate sponsors. There's no billionaires or millionaires funding this particular project. This is the purest of pure grassroots movement. And we are the people that are going to make the difference in this nation if we plan on restoring this nation, and that is our absolute intent. Brandy, brother, thank you for everything that you're doing, and I'm going to thank you in advance for all I know that you're going to continue to do, you and your entire family. And do appreciate all of the support, all the love, and all the sharing that you've shown.
Hey, Ernest.
Anyway, Jeremy, yes, sir.
I have a couple of announcements. We have quite a few people listening to us from Foundation Park in Pataskala, Ohio. I want to say hello to everybody out there. I hope you guys enjoy all the festivities, and I know it's a crowded park. I know there's a lot of people. We appreciate everyone listening to the Liberty Restoration Committee out there, and you guys get to celebrate for us tonight. So have a good time. Eat some good food. Enjoy the fireworks. Enjoy each other, and enjoy sharing time with one another out there. And that goes out to Chris and Reese and Dave and Casey and Casey's Munchkins and everybody that's out there. Also, Binary listening and some of the people that are listening here online. We appreciate you guys. And I think, let me go back to our chat room. We are on YouTube as well, and we've got people that joined us from New Jersey and Michigan. If you guys want to join us in the conversation, go ahead, press 1 at any time. And if you just want to listen, that's fine as well. But we appreciate you being here. We know it's a holiday weekend, and you don't have to be here. We're ironically here on the holiday weekend fighting for reason so that maybe the next 4th of July we can all look at each other and understand something completely different about our independence.
Okay,
So,
speaking of which, hey, can I use that as a segue point?
I was getting ready to throw it to you. It's like you're psychic sometimes, man. You're really good at this.
No, it's psycho, not psychic, psycho. No, it is the July the 4th weekend. We're going to do this tonight. We'll probably do it tomorrow night as well, just simply for those folks that didn't tune in tonight and get to hear it. It is the July the 4th weekend, and there's lots of things out there, and you know, patriotism in this country kind of ebbs and flows as far as crisis or anything, and people remember back how close everybody was following the attacks 9/11, 2001, and how patriotism kind of made us put all of our differences aside. But let me share something with you here. On the Liberty Pledge, you go to the libertypledge.com and you'll find a document entitled The Declaration of Intent. But tonight, let me share with you just a little bit, not all, but just a little bit of words written about 250 years ago, 240 years ago. I'll do the math in a minute. Doesn't really matter. The Declaration of Independence, action of the Second Continental Congress, July the 4th, 1776. The unanimous declaration of the 13 small U United States of America, using united as an adjective, not as a proper noun. Now, prior to, you know, it's funny, James Madison had told his wife that July the 2nd would forever live in history, because July the 2nd was something that I've got direct lineage and direct claim to. I claim it as part of my DNA. Maybe that's why I am all over this current movement. But a gentleman by the name of Richard Henry Lee in Virginia proposed the Lee Resolution. This was July the 2nd. This resolution made all the 13 colonies 13 sovereign nation states, of which they still remain to this day. And then, but July the 2nd wasn't the date heralded throughout history. It ended up being July the 4th because of this Declaration of Independence. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that when any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves, abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient suffrage of these colonies, and such now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former system of government. Just the first couple of paragraphs from the Declaration of Independence